So why didn't you max W on Sivir? I actually did max W second on Sivir. I wanted a second point in Spell Shield, though. And that's for a couple of reasons. So number one, I wanted to make sure that I could Spell Shield when things happened to me in lane. I found it very important to lower the Spell Shield cooldown by 3 seconds, as well as get 15 more mana on a properly blocked spell, just to make sure I wasn't going to get dumpstered by Leona going in multiple times. Now, it might not have mattered. It actually might have been a wasted point. I just kind of feel like it's useful to get 2 points in Spell Shield early. Now, the second thing is... there's not a lot of reason to get another point in Ricochet early on. Ricochet is entirely carried by your total attack damage. That is where all of the damage comes from. That is the only thing that matters for Ricochet. And so until you get... well, I mean, the thing is, like, you're going to get a Bloodthirster by, like, level 9. But, like, until you get Bloodthirster, like, the Last Whisper, you start building, you know, the other components, you're not doing that much damage with Ricochet early on. Champion levels matter as well. You're getting about 3 attack damage per level. Now, maybe I'm wrong about this, and honestly, I should have just stayed Spell Shield at 1 point, but the rationale was that I wasn't going to get a lot out of another point in Ricochet, whereas I felt like I was going to get a decent amount out of another point in Spell Shield. But I maxed Ricochet second, because by the time I'm level 14, I'm going to make a whole lot of use out of that. Okay, so key bindings. What I do is, I actually smart cast my main 4 abilities, Q, W, E, and R. I smart cast my 2 summoner spells, though that rarely matters. I smart cast my first 3 item slots, and then I have these things. So what this is, by the way, I actually should have loaded bots to help this, is I have left 1, 2, 3, and 4 unbound from my items. The reason for that is that 1, 2, 3, and 4 are my teammates. I can, instead of using F1, F2, F3, F4, F5, I've brought that down to 1, 2, 3, and 4 to make that easier to reach. This is good for 2 reasons. So number 1, if I am Galio and I regular cast my W, I can press 1, 2, 3, or 4, and that'll hit my various teammates. If I'm worried about misclicking a teammate, and I'm like, oh crap, what if they're all on top of each other? And I'm like, well, I just need to make sure that I bulwark the Amumu. I look at the list on the side and say, oh, Amumu is the 3rd ally. I can regular cast W, spam 3, and I can bulwark my Amumu. If I am Janna and I want to make sure I can shield my AD carry, I know that my AD carries on number 2, I can regular cast the shield and hit 2, and I guarantee that I do that. Now, yes, I can click on Amumu's portrait. I can regular cast and click the portrait, or I can regular cast and hit 2. For reference, I have my own enchantment bound to T. I can press Y in that Lux camera, that's fine, or I can press T and T targets myself. So I can press W and try to click Amumu and hope I don't misclick, or I can do that. I get the hotkey for the target that I want. And that to me is faster. That to me was worth it for me to rebind and have a teammate on an easily reached hotkey. Right? I mean, you know, regular cast 1, regular cast 2, regular cast 3, 4, regular cast T. I have that ability to do that. And so that of course means I need to rebind the rest of my abilities. So my items are X, C, and V. These 3 are smart cast. X is always my offensive item, that is Deathfire Grasp. It is Blade of the Ruin King. It is Hextech Gunblade. I typically don't have more than 1 of those. C is always my defensive item, though sometimes I have 2. It's Lock of the Iron Solari. It is Randuin's Omen. It is Zhonya's Hourglass. It is the enemy team is surrounding me. If I press C, it will do something good. Right? X will target enemy champion and do something good. C will be, oh crap, getting surrounded, something good happens. V is usually health potions. It is my press it if you remember in a team fight button. That's kind of all it means. Yeah, C is the oh crap button. From there, notice that I did not smart cast the other 3 slots. These are for wards, because I'll go back to base and I'll show you guys. Wards, when you click them and then hover over a brush, will tell you if you hover over brush, I'll just buy some words, right? So G is not smart cast, nor is 5. So C is smart cast, right? I wanna ward this brush. I don't know for sure if I'm in the brush, because here's the thing actually. I'm gonna show you on a different brush right here. So you often want to have very, very specific wards, because I want to ward in a spot that spots blue buff but also spots this alleyway. I want to ward on the edge of this brush in the middle. Now you notice the icon turns green when you're inside a brush. It's not 100% accurate, it actually can fail, but generally speaking I'll be like, okay, I'm in the green, I'll go in a couple of pixels, and then I'll ward right there. Now look what this does. I'm going to leave just to show you guys. I can see the blue buff. I can see this route. I can see this route. I can also see down into wolves. I can also see this exit. If someone tries to brush juke, I know exactly where they went, and my jungler might steal the blue, because I knew that I was putting it at the edge of the brush. If I'm on a smart cast spot, I might miss. That ward missed, right? No, I missed on purpose, right? But you don't know for sure that that wasn't in the brush. If I regular cast, I know for sure if it's in the brush, and that ward is in the brush. That's important, and that's why I unsmart cast these 3 keys. I'm not going to have more than 3 important active items. Generally speaking, I'm never going to. But I always put regular wards on G. I will then always put pink wards on 5. And then 6 almost never matters. It's my boots usually, or like a Zephyr. But for what it's worth, if I needed another ward to go down, I could do that. In fact, I should probably Explorer ward on 6. I actually put my Explorer ward on X at the beginning of the game. It doesn't really matter. But for what it's worth, if you start the game with a green ward, a pink ward, and an Explorer ward, you can have them all on non-smart cast keys. And wards aren't like, oh crap, items, right? You don't need to smart cast them. And the reason I smart cast, by the way, is for speed. The reason I smart cast is for speed. To be like, oh crap, you know, I really need to get this off as soon as possible. Okay, so let's move on. My other hotkeys here, abilities, summon spells. Right? I also have binds to regular cast my regular abilities. I also have binds for these, and it is holding shift. This is just the keys that I use. You don't have to use my keys, whatever. Because sometimes you really want to know the range. Oh, hey, can I actually shield this guy over the wall? Oh, I can. Like, let's say there's a Riven, right? And she's running and running and running and running and is going down here. I need to know if I can even bother bulwarking the Riven. Well, I can if she's right there. I'm going to sit by this wall. I'm going to hold regular cast and be like, bam, I got you. If I smart cast, I have no freaking clue. I have no idea. I don't care that the regular cast is shift. I don't care that it's a little bit slower, because normal casts, if you do normal cast, should be slower. You normal cast when you have time to set up and know the exact range. To me, that is the reason for normal cast, is to sit there and say, okay, it's right here. Whereas smart cast is like, oh god, oh god, oh god, right? At all times. Why not hold the hotkey down? I don't like, so there is a key binding that you could use. I think it's under game, which is, maybe it's not actually. Interface? I don't actually know what hotkey it is. But there is a hotkey with smart cast. It's under hotkeys. Oh, okay. Oh! Yep, display range indicators needs a quick cast. So there is a thing you could use, which is if I hold W, it's smart cast, and when I let go, it casts it. I personally don't like that. Some people do, that's fine. The reason I don't like that is I feel like this is quicker than waiting for the key up. I feel like it's quicker than waiting for the key up. And again, for me, hotkeys should be as fast as possible. I think it's always worth it to be as fast as possible, because I have the option. The thing is, right, if I turn the option on to have to key up, I have to always key up to cast things. Whereas if I have the option of, I want to check range and then cancel, I have that. I can choose to do that whenever I want, or I can just oh crap cast. I have both options this way, and I think it's superior. Okay, so I have regular cast here so I can check ranges. Quick casts are obviously is QWER, Summon Spells DF, XCV down there. I have self casts hooked up, always important. Always important to have self casts hooked up, because sometimes you're Galio and you want to get that self cast Bulwark down. You want to get the self-cast Zillion ult, you want to get the self-cast Morgana Black Shield, the self-cast Janna Shield. That is important, you shouldn't have it. It's important to have. The rest of the hotkeys are pretty much normal. I hit spacebar a lot to recenter the camera on myself. I have self-cast here. I use alt to level up skills. Pretty much standard stuff. Yeah, so self-cast is supposed to be alt. Back in beta, leveling up skills was alt and self-cast was control. And I think smart cast was shift. I said screw that, I'm not doing it that way. And so I rebound them. And that's pretty much all my hotkeys. The rest of these are pretty much normal. So those are the way I hotkey League of Legends. So the thing is, I am left-handed, so control, shift, and alt are all on my thumb. So easy mode. Can't be kited. Wind speed at 0 knots. Life steal heal every swing like he's down in pots. The winners claw toughest clan in the frail yard. For that's worth the follow up, how do you put your hand on the keyboard? My fingers are always on QWER. My thumb is over control. My palm right here hits spacebar. And then I can reach 1, 2, 3, 4. I can hit T, I can hit F, XCVG are all down there. It's actually really easy for me to use. Yeah, I mean, use what hotkeys you want, right? There's no, like, best hotkey to use. I just personally really like having the 1, 2, 3, 4 for my teammates. And that's all wonderful. Freeze a teammate like a deer in the headlights. The new that comes through like bad number 2. Lance Son switch to Tiger form, get the double. Pin killer, I actually don't know the answer to that question. Without hesitation. His salvation, causing losses, even when he murders you with natural causes. Man of the land, hands bringing fatalities. Soul of a total beast with split personalities. The winner's claw toughest clan in the Phreak, how do you prepare for the Season 4 events? Basically, the way I'm going to prepare for Season 4 casting is I'm going to ask all my friends to spectate their scrims, as well as attempt to play some ranked 5s at a decent level. And I actually have a lot of friends on like Diamond ranked 5s teams, so I'm going to play some of that. I mean, I'm going to play a lot of League to get familiar with the trinkets, to get familiar with typical support builds as they evolve, to get familiar with jungle builds as they evolve, how people use the camps, right? Like, I'm a diamond level player, I'll play with other diamond level players, and I'll see how they're all playing. But it's also going to be a lot of practicing with my co-caster, watching a lot of scrims to see what kind of strategies are being used in Season 4, and just rolling up with it. The funny thing is, now I think a lot of champion viabilities will stay the same. There's not a lot, well, I mean, actually I take that back. There's going to be some champion changes with Season 4. So some Season 3 stuff's going to matter, some of it won't, because a lot of the champions are going to matter. But it's going to be a lot of watching what teams do. Except for me, it seems immune to losses like a feeder vaccine. My haters bitch on the forums, it's a disgrace. Maybe if they're lucky, they could beat me in the code base. I love the blades and I run this battlefield. Win every trade when you see me, your fate is sealed. I hope you're listening to what I'm telling you. You lost another game. Better nerf Aurelia. The hit and hide style. Nerfing my alt CD. It won't matter at all. What is the best way to counter Caitlyn and her insane range? So let's go into this a little bit. Let's look at the marksman. So for what it's worth, I am not a good laner. So I'm gonna talk about the laning phase first and talk about team fights afterwards. I am not a very good laner, unfortunately. I make a lot of mistakes in laning. I lose my lane a lot, even when I should be winning the matchups. So Caitlyn Works very well in very short bursts. She likes to auto attack you once and get back out of range. She wants to land a Q on you and get back out of range. If someone can stun her to land a Q, so much the better. If you get in Caitlyn's face, it is much more difficult for her to deal with you. Her base attack speed is low, her attack damage is not that high, she has no attack steroids, she has her Q and she has auto attacks. Which means if you do get into her face, she is easier to deal with. Also, her Q is very obvious and easy to tell, and so you should be able to dodge the ability if you're not crowd controlled. Compared to other popular laners like, let's say, Corki, Ashe, Ezreal, Graves, their Qs are easier to get out. They don't necessarily deal more damage, or, I mean, in Ashe's case, it's her W, right? But they do similar damage, they reach farther. Well, they don't reach farther, sorry, but they do similar damage, and they are not as easily dodged. And so what your sort of plan is going to be is dodge her Q, try to land your own, when possible. Now, the number one thing I have to suggest to you, though, because honestly, it's too matchup dependent to talk about all the ways you beat up a Caitlyn, but the one thing that I'm going to... The one thing I'm going to advise to you guys is only be in range when you need to be in range. She should not ever get to auto attack you unless you're trading that damage for a last hit. If she hits you for free, you had no reason to be there. You had no reason to be that close to her, or no reason to stand there kind of walking back and forth, when you could have walked in, hit her when she hit you, maybe traded with a Q, right? Like, Caitlyn has 100 more range than the average AD carry. She has to sit there, wind up, swing, and then turn around. If she attacks you, and you walk forward and right-click her, you will be in range to land your own basic attack before she turns around. I am pretty certain. Which means you can always trade autos with her. You can always trade those attacks. Now, if she autos you when you auto a minion, then, okay, she's got the damage for free. Well, she got that damage as payment for the minion kill. But you should only ever have one of those two things happen. You either hit her back, or you got a last hit. If you're ever hit for free, you misplayed it and fixed the mistake. And that's how you kind of deal with Caitlyn's range. Now, because of her range, she's very good at finding those openings on you. But you still have the ability to play around that and survive those matchups. Do you think hybriding will be used by pros this season? I think it's likely. I know reworks are disallowed from competitive, at least from LCS, for a month. Now, we're not going to have LCS until at least the qualifiers in December-ish. But anyway, that. I'm sorry for the guys who are waiting for me to actually queue up for another game. I'm actually going to peace out. I'm getting kind of tired. I'm going to kind of just relax and chill. I'm done playing League for the day. Thanks guys very much for tuning in. If you have a couple more questions, feel free to ask, but I'm going to turn off the stream pretty soon. If you want something else to go watch, I'll recommend you guys a channel. Oh my gosh, NACL's live. Nope, I'm out right now. Everyone go watch NACL. Twitch.tv/NACL esports. Bye everyone, good night. I should be watching this. Later guys.